Barnes in January after taking over 2 years off. In '99, he lost to James Lights Out Tony. And here is 22-year-old Kendrick Releford. He is 6'3". His weight has fluctuated in his career. He came in tonight at 225 pounds. Releford is 9-4-1, and he took this fight on 6 days' notice. Prior to that, you see his last 5. He hurt Devero Williamson in the first round of their matchup, but was TKO'd in that fight in the 9th round. It's a 10-rounder. Bill Connor's the referee.
I was giving you instruction in the dressing room. I want you to obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. You out there, Steve?
Well, Teddy Atlas, you can't compare the two fighters when it comes to experience. Forget the fact that Garbey is a much more established pro. Look at his remarkable amateur career. 3-time world amateur champ, defeated Antonio Tarver, Chris Berg, Sven Aki, Juan Carlos, and Dale Brown as the star of the Cuban team in the early to mid-90s.
And despite all that, he's been a disappointment because of exactly that, what you're looking at on that graphic. That he was expected to be a world champion already, and maybe even a great fighter. But since getting to this country, his ambition level has dropped. When he defected, when he escaped from Cuba, he's really has not been inspired when he's got only a lot of times fighters, people, athletes that come from depraved countries, countries that do not give you freedom like our country does. Sometimes they come here to our shores, and that's victory. That is victory. They have their freedom, they have the ability to pursue a way of life, and they start to lose their enthusiasm and their discipline for their workplace. And it seems like that has happened to Garbey. We've had certain Cuban fighters who have been tremendous and have not been disappointments, like Gomez, the cruiserweight champ, now campaigning as an undefeated heavyweight. But Garbey so far, and you can see that extra weight on him, Joe. He has lacked the discipline to keep his weight down and keep himself in top shape. He's the better fighter in this fight. As far as skills go, Releford is not as talented or developed as Garbey. Different league as far as ability. Garbey coming in tonight, the heaviest of his career, 226 pounds.
Teddy, you're talking about a fighter in Ramon Garbey, who's a more natural cruiserweight. Much of his career spent in the 195-pound range. But as you said, 226 pounds tonight for the former Cuban amateur star.
Garbey turned pro as a cruiserweight, as you said. Joe, 183 pounds. Fluctuated between cruiserweight and heavyweight. 3 fights ago, he was 188 pounds. Then his last fight, he was 208. 20-pound swing. And then tonight, add on another 18 pounds. And you got the heaviest weight of his career, 226. The key with Garbey is just what the weight swings would suggest. Lack of commitment and discipline in training. Therefore, sometimes no consistency. He has the talent. Discipline is so important.
Not a lot of production for efficiency in the first 2 minutes of this first round. Garbey just 3 out of 40 on total connects in the first 2 minutes. That's 1%. Releford 5 out of 25.
As you said, Releford has only won one of his last 5 fights with a draw mixed in there. Releford has also come up since turning pro. First 7 weights were cruiserweight, then jumped up 25 pounds and has campaigned as a heavyweight since.
Releford coming in a little more with the jab here in the final moments of round number 1.
You see Garbey defensively makes you miss. That's a guy that has experience. That's a guy that can beat all the fighters we showed before. That's a guy that knows how to fight.
The Sears Bigger, Better Father's Day Sale. The only place for Father's Day. Find stronger tools, hotter drills, bigger TVs, cooler clothes, newer saws, faster drills, sharper DVD players, and smaller cameras. Like this Fuji digital camera. Go digital for under $100. Go for it. Hundreds of gifts on sale right now. Shop the Bigger, Better Father's Day Sale. Sears, good life, great price.
ESPN 2 Tuesday Night Fights, presented by Miller Lite. Tell it over a great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. It's Miller time. And in part by Aqua Velva. Aqua Velva keeps your face toned and fit. There's something about an Aqua Velva man. Good look at Fort Lauderdale Beach. We're just 3 miles due west of that. Former Cuban amateur standout, Ramon Garbey, feels that he should handle Kendrick Releford with no problem. Says the biggest difference will be his experience. When you see the punches in round 1, the paltry 8% landing.
The only possible problem for Garbey, I would think, in my humble opinion in this fight, is his conditioning, lack of. That's why his punch count is not always the most at the highest levels. Doesn't always inspire the most exciting watches. You just watch him. As soon as the punch comes, he slips it. Comes right back. He knows how to fight it. He places the left hook to the body. Just hurt Releford with that. Garbey knows how to fight. This thing is having the enthusiasm, the ambition to fight with fire, to have fire in training, to be in top shape.
Teddy, there may be one factor that could change the remainder of his career, and that's the fact that he did take some time off, 2 years and 2 months, from November 01 to January 04. He said that he had been fighting his whole life. He needed a break. He needed his body to rest. Won his first Cuban national title when he was just 13 years old, and he feels refreshed now.
Those guys do lose a lot of their youth. There's no doubt about that, Joe. You're in
13 years old.
You're in a tremendous sort of institution, a program like the Cuban program. You know, all you're doing is training. And what people don't realize sometimes is they're not around boxing. When you're 13 and you're boxing, you're 12 years old, you're boxing, you're doing nothing else. You road work in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. There's nothing else. There's a complete. But it's not like a kid who's playing baseball, little league, and then when that season's over, he plays a little football, and then he goes plays a little tennis. Then he plays basketball when that season starts. No. When you're boxing, that's it. That's your full-time commitment, even at an early age like that. And you can see somebody getting burned out by that. But by letting his weight go up like this, you hate to see that and let him use that as an excuse, because now he's wasting all those years when he had all those fights. Supposedly he had 400 amateur fights. You don't want all that sacrifice, all those punches, all that work to go to waste. Unless he gets serious in his training, it will.
Just to put into perspective how extensive and how successful the amateur career of Garbey was, 410 amateur bouts. He went 383 and 27.
See, right here, you can see Garbey. A good way to tell who's a better fighter is just look at the defense. Defense is something that's acquired. It comes from years of teaching and experience. Garbey has that defense.
Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Big crowd here, celebrity-studded crowd coming out for the first night of big-time boxing in this grand facility. This is a 10-round heavyweight fight between Ramon Garbey in the white trunks with black trim and Kendrick Releford wearing the blue with white trim tonight. The punches in round number 2, you see the percentages were close, but Releford throwing 84 punches to Garbey's 58. I'm not sure much of that 84 was effective.
No, because Garbey knows what to do if something's coming at him with a glove on it. Knows how to block it, knows how to slip it. You had 400 fights, you better know how to fight. Otherwise, you get another line of work.
Good left hand came in from Ramon Garbey.
The problem with Garbey is he's not consistent offensively. Knows what to do defensively, but because he's 226 pounds in a cruiserweight's body, his work rate is up and down at best. Not consistent. That means he can be outworked. Releford, although, as I said right from the beginning, I don't believe, in my estimation, can come close to matching Garbey talent-wise, skill-wise. But if he works hard enough, doesn't leave himself wide open to one of Garbey's counters, because Garbey will make you miss a counter. Releford and a lot of fighters with Garbey at this weight will have a chance to outwork him at spots. And that's what I would do if I was in the corner of Releford. Because Releford being trained by his father, former pro boxer, also in his corner, is a family affair. His mother is also there, Tina Releford. I would be telling him, if it was my son, in the corner, I would be saying, listen, get off your shots, get a fast work pace going, and get out. Don't stay around, because Garbey, when he makes you miss, he'll look to counter. Don't be there for the counter, but get shots off, get out, get shots off, take a walk around the side off, keep a little bit off balance. Garbey needs to be set to punch. Outwork him, and don't give him that one shot to get something going by laying it.
You see that he's looking for a little more of that here in round number 3. You know, Teddy, you bring up the point about the fact that it's a family affair, and in the corner of Kendrick Releford is his dad, is his trainer, Ken Releford, who was a fighter in his own regard. You would think that Releford, we talk so much about Garbey's amateur career, you would think Releford, growing up with his dad, would have had an extensive amateur career. Just 19 amateur fights. He said he grew up in the gym with his dad and his uncles. But his intention was never the Olympics or amateur glory. He said he always felt he had a style that would be more suited for the pros. His intent was to turn pro as quick as he could and to become a world champion as a pro. Releford's first time he's put more than 2 punches together, firing back off the jab with 2 right hands. They are scheduled for 10 rounds. Ramon, Garbey, and Kendrick Releford. Tuesday night fight.
At Bell, we've spent 50 years creating the most advanced helmets, and now we're bringing new cycling innovations to you. Through sophisticated research methods, we found that flat tires can create feelings of frustration.
185. 190. We're in the red zone. He's going to kill himself.
This can decrease bicycling pleasure. So we created the flat blocker tube with self-sealing slime inside to instantly seal punctures. But we didn't stop there. Next, we ventured where no cycling company has dared to go before. Research showed that conventional seats can cause intense bruising and inflammation.
He's in so much pain.
Fascinating.
So we developed the Geltec seat with 3 layers of comfort. To find out how to get Bell Geltec seats and flat blocker tubes, call now. No more flats, no more soreness from the innovators at Bell.
Tuesday night fights coming to you from Hollywood, Florida. Big crowd on hand at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. The punches through 3 rounds between Ramon Garbey and Kendrick Releford, 59-36 in terms of punches, leaving the edge going to Releford. Teddy Atlas, Releford has had big weight swings in his career. He started under 200 pounds, as did Garbey. That was in 2001. Went as high as 238 pounds versus DeVero Williamson back in January. Now he comes in at 225. He says that lifting weights was the cause of that. He added more bulk than he really wanted to. You know, there are very few times we hear that lifting weights does any good in boxing.
You know what it does sometimes? I've had fighters where I put them on weight programs, make them strong, maybe make them more aggressive. If that's what you think that the doctor orders for that particular fight.
In his case, the stiffness, the bulkiness,
You know, the old-time trainers, it was taboo. They did not like weights. They thought just what you just alluded to, Joe. They thought it made you stiff, lost your flexibility. But in today's programs, there's so much science. If you're on a proper program, if you do the proper stretching and flexibility exercises, it can really be an asset. It does not have to be a detriment.
Releford seems to be gaining a little confidence now on the inside with Garbey.
Developing confidence inside, outside, all sides. Somebody doesn't throw punches at you, it usually invokes confidence. See, the thing here tonight, I can see even early on is, Ramon play around, make mistakes, he can still pull it out, all of a sudden explode a punch. Releford can't do that. He's got to make sure he doesn't make mistakes. He makes a mistake, he might be back in the dressing room earlier than he planned on.
Short inside right hand from Releford.
But also at the same token, Garbey, by being lazy at 226 pounds, which is his real flaw is his lack of discipline and coming in top shape. He can be outworked and maybe forced into a position where he needs to land a big shot to catch up. You never want to be in that position. Just watch him up, he knows where to touch it. He knows how to set shots up. He hits punches up with a good array of punches. As I said, you look at a guy's defense, and you can tell right away what his experience is, how long he's been around, how good he is. Garbey knows defense. It takes a while to acquire that science.
You are watching Tuesday Night Fights, presented by Miller Lite.
You're driving along. A car pulls in front of you. Another pulls alongside. When the guy up front stops short, you rear-end him, just like he wanted. It's called a swoop and squat. And fraud like this can add hundreds of dollars a year to your insurance bills. It's why Allstate has a dedicated fraud team to track down criminals. Fighting fraud helps keep your insurance affordable. That's Allstate stand. Are you in good hands?
Wednesday, ESPN and ESPN2 have 3 Major League Baseball games. First, the Cardinals visit the Cubs at Wrigley. That's a day game on ESPN at 2 Eastern. Then at 7 Eastern on ESPN, the San Diego Padres take on Manny Ramirez and the Red Sox at Fenway Park. Some may see Cleveland and Florida. And on ESPN2 at 10 Eastern, Ken Griffey Jr. still looking for home run number 500. Reds take on the Oakland A's. Major League Baseball on ESPN and ESPN2. Round number 5 between Garbey and Releford. The punches in round 4. Releford landing 31 of 92 in that 4th round against the former Cuban amateur star. Garbey is in the white trunks with black trim. 31 years old, taking on a young pro who's hungry, Kendrick Releford. And now Garbey starting to turn things on a bit in the early moments of round number 5.
All that experience for Garbey, all that talent. It's just a matter of what he makes himself do. Not what he can do. That is not the question in this fight. It's what he wants to do. How much discipline he brings into that ring as far as his work rate, his production rate. We know what he can do. It is day-to-day with Garbey what he will do.
One would think, Teddy, he'd be able to do it a heck of a lot better if he wasn't 226.
And that's what I've been talking about for the last, 5 rounds now. They're just flying by.
Well-experienced amateur. See Teddy's scorecard, 39-38.
We talked about all the amateur experience and achievements of Garbey. In the pros, let's not forget, he's fought 2 former world champions. So he's got the experience in the amateurs and the pros. And right now, Releford has the ambition, has the desire, and he has his hands moving. But that's all you got to do with Garbey. You have a good chance.
Together.
You have a good chance, Joe, to just move your hands because he's going to let you outwork. Just don't lay around for the receipt because every once in a while, Garbey will come back.
Good uppercut. The right hand came in clean from Kendrick Releford. Keep in mind, took the fight on 6 days' notice.
Yes, he did, but I would say he's in shape. All you got to do is look at the weights. Weights don't lie. You're right. He took this fight on short notice, Releford. You wonder about his condition. But his last fight was only a month and a half ago. He was 224. Tonight he's 225. So, Joe, he's only 1 pound heavier.
That's right.
Releford is what he looks like he is. He's in shape. He's not ready to win. He knew that he could take that fight as well and Paulie knew he could take this fight because they knew he was in the gym.
Now Garbey returning fire with his back against the ropes.
Garbey giving rounds away just by not working. That's always dangerous, but I think it's more dangerous in this case because Garbey, at the heaviest weight of his career, you can't depend on him having a lot in the tank later in the fight. So you want to have a lead. Well, you've got to be careful here.
Good shootout round for the Fort Worth and his native Kendrick Releford. Let's listen into the corners.
How we feeling? Leo, how we feeling? Huh? How we feeling? Come on, listen. Don't fall in that slugging over thing.
Round number 5, Teddy, when Releford came on.
Nothing fancy here, Joe, the old-fashioned way. Just moving your hands. You have a guy in front of you, Garbey, who's laying in the middle, leaving himself available. But Garbey, with all that experience, he's going to have a word in here. And Releford's got to make sure he doesn't do that. Lay in front when he's finished punching, because Garbey in spots will come back. You don't want to be there for the spot.
Kendrick Releford with his dad Ken and his mom Tina in the corner. Young pro who's taking his lumps in the ring, still focused on a lifelong dream to grab a title as a pro. 38 of Releford's 45 connect shots were power shots in that 5th round. Round number 6, they are scheduled for 10.
Look at the differences of speed. I'm not saying Releford's faster, but his jab is snappier. And that's just a mindset. That's an ambition signal. That's a sign of ambition. That's something else. Garbey's jab is slower because he's not as ambitious. Not because he doesn't have a better jab or as good a jab.
Teddy, as you brought up earlier, that's really been the case with him since he accomplished what was his main life goal, and that's defecting from Cuba to the United States. He just hasn't been a hungry pro.
There's been a lot of fighters, Cubans, other nationalities, that when they're lucky enough to get to this country and hit those shores and gain freedom, which every human being deserves to have, and some don't around the world, sometimes that is their championship. Whether it's baseball, whether it's, basketball, whether it's boxing. But that's their championship that they got to this country. Not all of them, but some of them. Garbey's situation so far, that seems to be the case.
Garbey is engaged to be married here in the United States in South Florida to his fiancée Elena next spring. He left behind one child in Cuba.
We talk about all the great accomplishments in the amateurs of Garbey. Just unbelievable. You think back a few years ago, and another great disappointment happened to be from Cuba also. Jorge Gonzalez, remember him, Joe?
Sure, the big heavyweight.
Big giant, 6'7". He beat Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe in the amateurs. Won the gold medal in the Olympics. I mean, this guy, everyone thought he was going to be heavyweight champ of the world. He had the greatest credentials you could have. And the same thing, not the ambition. He got to this country, and that was enough for him.
Garbey, of course, with amateur wins over Chris Bird, Sven Ottke, Antonio Tarver. Of course, he weighed 165 pounds to 178 pounds back in those days. He actually defected with a guy that was able to keep on the road to success, Joe Casamayor.
Casamayor is a great example. World champion, came home from Cuba, accomplished, great amateur. Not quite the same as Garbey, but tremendous in his own right. Won a gold medal in the Olympics. Came here with all that ability and the desire and vision. Right now, Garbey, he's got to get his hands moving.
Now, when you stay at Ramada, you'll earn points towards the things you really want with the largest hotel rewards program ever. Trip rewards. Think of it as a gazillion more reasons why Ramada is a very good place to be.
Want a laptop that can unclutter your life? Unwire. With a wireless laptop powered by Intel Centrino mobile technology.
That's not tough enough to stop athletes, Flip. Hit that with boom! Tough actin' Tinactin. Tinactin's the only one proven to prevent athletes, Flip. Lamisil can't say that. Get boom! Tough actin' Tinactin.
Now on DVD. Are you sweating with anticipation?
Hey, do you mind if I go to the men's room?
Please.
Bursting with excitement?
Occupied. I'm gonna be here all night, dude.
Run out and buy the funniest comedy of the year.
Oh, my God!
Along Came Polly. Own it on DVD today.
Tuesday night fights from the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. 10 rounds of heavyweights. Ramon Garbey is wearing the white trunks with black trim tonight. Kendrick Releford, a young pro out of Fort Worth, in the blue with white trim. You see the punches through round 6. 157 to 73 edge for Kendrick Releford. In jabs through 6 rounds, he's 58 out of 221.
For those young, aspiring boxers or whatever you're aspiring to be and to do in your life, this is a great lesson. It's not, you don't have to be the most talented, gifted person. You don't have to have traveled down the roads where you've had the greatest accomplishments like Garbey has had. But if you have a great mindset, a great desire in your heart, and you're willing to work hard, you can accomplish things. It's not automatic that you have to have all the background and the illustrious things like a Garbey. Look at Releford. Right now, up to this point, he's winning this fight just on having desire and applying his trade.
Hope you're enjoying the first of our Tuesday night fight series for this summer, presented by Miller Lite. We are at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Beautiful new facility here in Hollywood, Florida. I'm Joe Tessitore alongside Teddy Atlas. Ramon Garbey and Kendrick Releford in front of you. Round number 7 scheduled for 10. Still to come later tonight, the NABF Cruiserweight title fight between Dale Brown and Robert Daniels. Of course, it was a very busy boxing weekend with De La Hoya and Hopkins in action. We're going to get Teddy Atlas's thoughts on that coming up a little later.
I have Releford winning this fight simply by just outworking Garbey. But it's still a dangerous fight for him.
Just walked into a right hand, Teddy.
Garbey's a good counterpuncher. Garbey has talent. Garbey has some power. Although he hasn't carried it as much moving up to this weight, he'd be much better served as a cruiserweight. But as I said very early, Releford, even if he's winning this fight, as I think he is, he can't afford to suddenly snooze a little bit, get caught napping and make a mistake. Garbey can make mistakes and still survive. He's already done it. Releford can't really make a big mistake. Suddenly this fight could be taken away from him. And that mistake would be after he punches laying there like he's doing right now. Can't lay there. He should throw those punches, move to the side, get out, then get back in. Don't make himself available for anything to come back after he's finished. Like right here, don't lay there. By laying there, he allows Garbey to come back. Good offense, though, by Releford.
Exactly what Releford has done.
Good!
I'd like to tell you a little story about my grandparents. They had a refrigerator that they knitted themselves out of yarn. It was small, not very cold, but it taught me a valuable lesson. Not all of us have king-sized refrigerators. And that's why Miller brings you the space-saving fridge pack. It proves once again that Miller is a beer of the people. Plus, it's got this little lip here that keeps the beers from tumbling out.
Choose great beer in great boxes, Miller. The call.
Relive the last 25 years in sports with ESPN 25. Next Tuesday on News Number 1, we'll count down the best teams from the 79 Steelers.
Everybody on that team deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
To the 98 Yankees. And on the headlines, we'll revisit stories from the Harding-Kerrigan Nightmare to the USA Dream Team.
To put all their egos behind them and come out and represent our country.
Who's number 1 and the headlines. Next Tuesday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. ESPN 25, presented by Gatorade Thirst Quencher.
Right there for you in your bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see some spot work by Garbey, and that's what he does, the spots. But there's a good spot. He gets off, he steps back, then he counters. That's the talent of Garbey. That's what Releford has to be careful for. But the problem is, it only comes in spots from Garbey, who's carrying around 226 pounds.
Round number 8. You see the power punches through 7 rounds. 116-63 advantage to Kendrick Releford. Here in the 8th round, scheduled for 10. Releford has only been 10 rounds once. That was a draw against Terry Smith. Young fighter. 9-4-1 is the record he came in with tonight. Had a very limited amateur career, but he has rededicated himself in the gym. He's been working hard with his dad, who was a former pro, and he took this fight on 6 days' notice, but came in just as good a shape as he was in his last fight. Take a look at Teddy Atlas's scorecard through 7 rounds. 68-66 Releford.
Could have gave the last round to Releford just for throwing ball, but I gave it to Garbey because I thought the couple punches he landed, it was even more effective professional type punch.
It'd be interesting to see how the judges view those last 20 seconds when he took him off and laid against the ropes, and Releford may have started the round just getting busy with Garbey on the ropes, but for the most part, the first couple minutes of that 7th round seemed to go Garbey's way.
Yeah, Releford could have done a Sugar Ray Leonard on Garbey, like Sugar Ray Leonard did against the Marvelous one. Marvin Hagler, when he won that title and surprised the world. He stole a lot of rounds late in the rounds.
Pressed the gas pedal in the last 30 seconds in that classic fight. Came out of retirement to defeat Marvelous Marvin Hagler, who, by the way, next week on Friday Night Fights will be alongside Brian Kenny as our in-studio guest analyst. Now, that is a real treat. Marvin Hagler, you do not see, obviously, with his move to Italy, you just don't see a lot of Marvin Hagler on American TV anymore. A real treat to have him in studio next week as our guest analyst on Friday Night Fights.
I can't wait to hear that Italian accent. When you see something good, he's like, hey, oh, hey. Hey, you like that? That's a heck of a left hook.
One of the few great, all-time great champions that didn't come out of retirement, Teddy.
You know, he's very proud. When he lost that fight, he had a bitter taste in his mouth. He thought he beat Leonard. He didn't feel he was any more at the top of his game. Very proud athlete, kind of like Jim Brown in football. He said, you know what? I'm going to walk away now. I'm not going to diminish anything I've done in my career. Give him credit for that. Give Releford credit for moving his hand.
No doubt.
So he can pay his electric bill, or else it's lights out.
When it comes to sending and receiving money around the world, millions of loved ones rely on Western Union.
I'm sending money to Africa to help with my son's school bills.
Western Union serves 190 countries and offers a money-back guarantee. And with over 170,000 agent locations, there's got to be one near you.
The money is guaranteed. I wish his grades were.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
Big crowd at the Grand Ballroom at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, enjoying the first fight on Tuesday Night Fights this week. Coming up in our main event, it'll be Dale Brown, the Cowboy, Ring Magazine's number 9 ranked cruiserweight. He will be taking on the former world champion, Robert Daniels, who lives right here in South Florida, in a fight that he says may be the last of his career. Good NABF cruiserweight title fight tonight. There's Ramon Garbey preparing himself for the 9th round against Kendrick Releford. The CompuBox stats from round number 8. 49-12 edge for Releford. He threw 102, the high totals for Releford all night long. He had a 28-3 connect advantage in the last minute of that 8th round.
This is going to be a crucial round, I believe, for Releford. They think he's ahead on the scorecard. Garbey might, if his corner is being honest with him, might feel the same way. And therefore, Garbey might look for spots to explode and suddenly pull this fight out of the fire if he feels that he really is in the fire. Then again, Garbey might not have the conditioning to make those choices.
Garbey up against the ropes again. Releford has been successful many times tonight, firing out shots. Scoring well.
To catch 22 inside, Releford can move his hands close to Garbey. He's in better shape, and that's funny to say about a guy who took the fight on quick notice. You never say that. He took the fight on 6 days' notice. Garbey had months to get ready for the fight, and Releford's in better shape. That tells you all you need to know about what's been lacking in the career of Garbey so far as a disappointment in the pro ranks for his career.
He may be lying to himself, Teddy, because in talking to us yesterday, he said that, hey, the reason I'm going to fight at heavyweight and not cruiserweight is because there's no more Holyfield, there's no more Lewis, the division is wide open. The typical rhetoric that we've been hearing from a lot of guys who are aspiring to get a claim to the heavyweight title. He feels his skills will always be there even as a smallish heavyweight. Well, he's not a smallish heavyweight, he's a guy that lacks dedication in it.
He left out the part about how he likes eating.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he's got skills.
The catch-22 here for Releford is inside he can outwork Garbey and he can press his conditioning or lack of conditioning by staying on him. But by being in close and not outside, he can be available for what almost landed right there. A big shot from Garbey. Garbey still can end this fight suddenly. Don't go away. Our great fans, the best in the world. Don't go away. Garbey, great Cuban amateur, who's beaten so many guys that are world champions now in the pro ranks in our country. He still can pull this one out. All of a sudden he decides to put something together and Releford lingers inside just a little bit too long.
Good stay away work with that jab from Kendrick Releford in the last minute of this 9th round. A slowed down Ramon Garbey searching for answers, and you would think needs to come up with the big shot to pull this one out.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah.
You've got enough to worry about without having to worry about your car. That's why at 75,000 miles, switch to Valvoline's Max Life. Its added ingredients help prevent wear on critical engine parts.
Hello, gorgeous girl.
At 75,000, time to switch to Max Life. And introducing Max Life Synthetic, another good reason to switch to Max Life.
It doesn't take a degree in engineering to know that your car needs regular oil and filter changes. That's why we're ready in advance, with brand names you trust. Castrol, Valvoline, Pennzoil, all in stock at ready-to-go low prices. So bring it on. We're ready in advance.
For the best parts, people that price, we're ready in advance.
Yeah, bring it on.
Former Cuban amateur star Ramon Garbey. He told us he was refreshed and refocused at age 31. He wanted to confidently try to make a run at what he sees as a wide open division. As the CompuBox numbers right in front of you tell you, he has to try to make a strong run right here in round number 10 and potentially come up with a big finish of a knockout to pull this one out. Taking on Kendrick Releford, a young pro from Fort Worth who took this fight on 6 days' notice and has been pitching a pretty good ball game against Ramon Garbey. Let's take a look at Teddy Atlas's scorecard. 88-84. Only 3 rounds in the ledger for Ramon Garbey.
It's been a simple formula for Releford, and give him credit. He's done good things strategically and technically too. Not just ambition and work, but now he's switched to the outside, which makes sense for him. Not laying inside, he's using his head, moving, keeping Garbey off balance. Been able to avoid those couple of spots. When he has gotten caught, he's handled it. Give him a lot of credit. It's been a simple formula. He's outworked Garbey. He's gotten off first. And Garbey hasn't gotten off at all. But Garbey has come back. Releford has never left Igzo unanswered. If Garbey is thrown 2, Releford's come back with 4. If Garbey throws 3, Releford comes back with 6. He's always the last one to punch. And always coming back with extra punches. That should hold him well with the scorecards.
And even some of those rounds, the 3 that you and I have to say in the 1st, 2nd, and 7th round for Ramon Garbey, you can make strong arguments for Releford.
Yes, you could. And now he's being smart. You know, I mentioned it earlier that he shouldn't lay in front of Garbey inside too much. Giving Garbey, even though he's outworking him, and was outworking him, giving Garbey a chance to see him, to find him, to touch him when he's in close. Now, of course, as I say that, Releford goes in close, but gets it back outside. I think this last round, he believes, which I think he has to believe, he's ahead on the scorecards, and he should be ahead on the scorecard, he should keep it on the outside. He shouldn't be inside right now. He should be on the outside with that quicker jab, that snappy jab, little movement side to side to keep Garbey from getting set, kill a little time, and keep it outside where it would be a lot harder for Garbey to find that magical punch. You know, we've talked about all the glowing things about Garbey's career, amateur accomplishments. I'm going to mention real quick, I feel bad if I didn't. Releford, he has other accomplishments. Maybe not in the ring yet, still has a chance for that. But as a person, works with home health care for the disabled, and wants to sponsor Special Olympics someday. Well, he might get a chance to do that if he keeps fighting like this. Gets his name up there. Good job by Releford.
Very, very strong effort from 22-year-old Kendrick Releford. 7 days ago, he didn't even know he'd be on this card. But he shows up, takes on Ramon Garbey, the well-accomplished amateur star, and it looks like he earned himself the win. We'll come back with the scores.
Bud Light says choose on taste. At Miller Lite, we couldn't agree more. Try both and decide for yourself. Great taste, less filling. Crikey. Now.
The 14-year veteran, now 33-5-2. He will be taking on the local fan favorite Troy Rowland, a middleweight prospect who is 18-1. Then next week on Tuesday Night Fights, Teddy and I will be in Elk Grove, Illinois for one of our favorites, Omar Shika, the Proven Warrior. He takes on Mano Nato. That's Shiko Nato next week on Tuesday Night Fights. The total punches between Ramon Garbey and Kendrick Releford, you see the numbers there, and in the last round, Releford was 31 of 100, while Garbey was just 8 of 32. Teddy Atlas's scorecard, 98-93 for Releford. Let's head up to the ring now to Damian Pinto.
Ladies and gentlemen, this one comes to a close, and we go to the scorecards. Judge Mark Streisand scores this bout 97-93. Judge Thomas Rupert and Judge Mike Pernick both see it the same at 98-92. All three judges favor unanimously your winner, Kendrick Releford.
So Kendrick Releford, Teddy, has to feel great about coming into this fight on 6 days' notice against a more accomplished Ramon Garbey and doing what he did tonight.
This should motivate him to greater things and bigger things, and you got to be happy for him.